Okay, so we're almost there. Just to review, we have, let's go back to, we've done pretty much everything here. The logo, the nav, copy, sidebar. Anything left to do is the menu and the footer. And make sure we have everything here. Like, make sure and go through, these requirements, and make sure and go through the rubric I'm gonna put up here as well, and that way you know that you have everything going for you. Okay, so let's just finish up with the footer. Okay, so the same way that we had the navigation up here, we just want to replicate that navigation down here. So again, because we have a folder with the navigation in there, no need to retype that. So all you have to do is just duplicate this entire folder by holding on the Option key with the layer selected, and just drag it down. Or up. And in this case, I'm going to call it footer nav. And also, if you don't want to use the Option key, you could also, here you can duplicate the group. Okay. Okay, so footer nav, I'm going to bring this down closer to the footer. Now remember, when you duplicate something, it places it right over, so you're not going to see it right away. Okay, it's there. Everything has been duplicated. But the reason you don't see it yet is because it's right on top of the other one. Right, that happens when you duplicate something. It places it right on top of the other element. So in order to move it, make sure you have the footer nav selected, and just hold down the Shift key and click anywhere in any of these, and just bring it down, and you'll see it's now, right? You have the top nav, which is this. You can hide it and you can see. And here's the footer nav. So we need to make this white against a dark background. So there's no easy way to do that beyond just going in and selecting here. The hex code for white is 6Fs or 3Fs will work. So I'm just going to copy those 6Fs. So every time I select one, I just have to go here. Automatically puts the cursor here. Just paste. Again, click it once. Hit paste. It's going to go in automatically. Got two more to do. See, like that. Color. Okay. Last one. Perfect. So I have my footer. I can keep it the same size. It's fine. I'm gonna bring it around just a little bit because I like the space right here. So I'm gonna hold down the entire folder and just drag it along. And everything is gonna come. So you don't have to go and do one at a time and move them back and center them and everything. Okay. And if I want to bring this down a little bit, I think it's kind of high. All I have to do is just select the footer folder, and then select the logo at the same time, and kind of bring them down at the same time. Beautiful. Okay, so we have everything in place that we need for for you to export. So one of the things you want to do is you want to always give somebody a mock-up as a JPEG to see the full element, and then you have to create these little graphics for the web developer. So the first thing we're going to do is you're just going to save this file, and then we're going to export this file as a JPEG. Right, the entire thing is a JPEG. It's going to flatten everything for you, but you always want to save your PSD file, right? Because that's the original file with all your layers. So you just go to, if you're in CS6, so I'm going to switch up between CS6 and Creative Cloud. So in Creative Cloud, you want to go to, file, right? Just like export as. And we did PNG when we were doing the graphics here. So here we can just change it to JPEG up here. As you can tell, your numbers, right, gives you the pixels, same way. Export that. And I have a folder already called JPEG. And I'm going to name it Final. I'm going to name this one 2. Okay, so now you have your sort of JPEG done. Now the other thing you want to do is it doesn't matter with the white background, but once you, so I'm going to open this in CS6 now. So in CS6, I have, close this. So I'm going to open this file. Let me save that again. So let's say you're working on CS6 and you have your final file and you open up. If I'm going to say keep layers, right? So this is what my file will look like in CS6. Okay, so if you were to export this in CS6, you'd have to go to File, Save for Web. Now you could export, but you want to use Save for Web if you're in CS6. Save for Web will bring up a similar box, and you can just choose JPEG. Notice the numbers go down a lot from PNG, and you just save it in there, and you find the correct folder. I'm not going to save it again, but you'll first find the correct folder, and just save it in there. So that's CS6. So now you have to export this from Creative Cloud. So this is what you want to do. First thing you want to do is you want to take off the white layer. Okay, you're not going to export that. We also are not going to export any of the text that's on here. We can potentially, this can be an entire graphic, so we can export that separately. We're not going to export the navs, so we're only going to export the logos, the hero image, the text, the small image, because everything else here can be done in CSS, right? This box could be done in CSS, this could be done in CSS, this could be done in CSS. We are going to export the magnifying glass and not the search box. All that's going to be done in CSS. Okay, and actually I mentioned that on the files. The things that need to be exported, okay, are right here. Right, the top nav, so basically hide all of these, okay, when you go to export. Okay, so if you're in Creative Cloud, so you want to hide the rounded rectangle, you want to hide the navigation on the top, hide the navigation in the footer. We can hide the footer, we can hide the body copy, the sidebar, and the body copy, sorry, here, and we can hide the sidebar itself. So everything on here we're going to export is a graphic. Okay, no text, no boxes are going to be exported. You got to take off the white, because what the great thing about Creative Cloud, in this version of Creative Cloud, is that, I'm going to make this image a little bit bigger, is that you are going to be able to export multiple files regardless of where they're located. So how to do that? You just go to File, Export, and there's a little box that says, selection that says Layers to Files. So that means everything that's on a layer is going to be exported as a file, which is just awesome. And I'll show you how awesome it is when you have to do it in CS6. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you go to export layers to files is you want to find a folder that you're going to export into. So in this case, I have a folder called PNG Assets. I'm going to create another one. PNG Assets, I'll call it number 2. So that's where I'm going to put everything. Okay, and if it's kind of scroll through, you'll see that's where it's going to go. Okay, do visible layers only. Okay, that means everything that is hidden is not going to get exported. So make sure it's visible layers only. Make sure it's PNG24. Okay, transparency is on. So I took a screenshot of this. So certainly pause the video and make sure you have everything in here. And then you just run it. That's all you have to do. So it's automatically going to do is it's going to crop, and you can see it's happening. It's cropping the images for you. It's basically getting rid of all this other stuff and just getting rid of all this other white space and whatnot. So if you look into your folder, into my PNG assets folder, is you're gonna have all the files that you need to send to a developer. There's your magnifying glass, we have the text, here's my hero image, here's my logo, here's my small sidebar, and my footer. So a developer can take this now and lay everything out in CSS and HTML, and that's all they need. and they will add everything else because you gave them a JPEG of the final mockup, and they can look at this and lay everything out for you. Now, the problem with CS6 is that CS6 doesn't allow you to export the layers. So there's a little bit of a workaround to be able to get this to work more fluidly. There's a couple extra steps, but they're certainly easy to do. So the first thing you're going to do with CS6 is you're going to have to do one at a time. So the first thing, again, the same elements that what I do first is I hide everything. And you can just kind of drag your mouse down and hide everything. And then start bringing them back one by one. So here's my first element that I need to export. So the first thing you want to do is, once that's selected, you go to Image Trim. What that's going to do is take over all the transparent pixels. What it's going to do is going to shrink that down just to how much everything that you need. And then you have to go File, Save for Web. And then you have to do it manually. So you have to go Save, and let's say I'm going to put it in that same folder, but I'm going to name it CS6. Okay, notice though, it doesn't save the names for you like the other one did. So I'm going to have to go in there and save it as magnifying glass. There's a couple extra steps, but it works just as well. Now once you do that, you have to go into your history tool and bring back the history, right? Because if you here, you can't get to the other layers, right? So you got to go back into your history. Every time you do one of these, you got to go back into your history and go on to the next one. So the next one is going to be get rid of all those. We don't need the rounded rectangle. We don't need the text or the text. We need the hero image. Same thing. Image, trim, transparent pixels gone. Save for web. Okay. Save into the CS6 folder, but I have to change the name. So I could click on this and then type over it, or just type over the whole thing if you want. Name it hero. Image. And then save that. And you have to do it for every one of them. So the last video I will go over, I'll just complete, go through all these again with CS6 to make sure if you have CS6 or CS5, you can do this just like this in CS5 as well, to make sure that you'll be able to export all your assets without, any extra background space or any white space or anything. You can crop it, it'll automatically crop it for you by selecting the trim option. Okay, see you in video 4.